Hey Thor, what you doing? Hanging out with me in the shop? Yeah? You're such a sweet purr kitty. Yes, you are. Super excited here at work, and I am able to walk downstairs without too much difficulty. So that was awesome. I guess the new facade is creating a bit of a stir with
It's not open yet, right?
Roundup Rodeo.
No, he's gonna do the bar.
Should be fun, but they're trying to put some stuff up to deal with the sight line. So it is what it is. Should be good food though. So sometimes out here on the homestead, little things go a long way. So I've got a little 1.5 inch slip thread adapter that I'm going to put on the well back flush. Hopefully this will keep my shoes from getting wet. That's the back flush valve, and when the water comes out, it kind of comes out at a V from that fitting. I'm hoping adding this will allow that to come more straightforward instead of out the sides. We'll see. Well, I finally figured out my predicament with my back flush extender there. It's 1.25 inch pipe. So done a lot of plumbing and stuff outdoors, usually not with large format pipe. Never realized there was 1.25 inch. I knew there was 1 inch, 1.5 inch, but 1.25 inch is what we got. Anyway, good times. So this is the old U-bolt. It went, see if I can get this all juggled up in here. It went in here like such. But as you can tell, that's for a much larger pipe. Didn't need that much, so we just, instead of replacing the pipe with something bigger, and then having to figure out how to mount this on a larger pipe. Is it going to focus for me? There we go. We just kept the same size pipe, and we upgraded, or updated I should say, kind of a downgrade, to a smaller one of these. So should work just fine. There's almost the finished product. I still need to get the brackets for mounting the controller box to the pole, and then it'll just end up being on the back side over there. Got the battery box down here. So far this battery box and battery seems to be working. It's holding at about 13.3 volts. So, got it made. Alright, well I got the box mounted on the back. Not quite as undercover as I might have thought it would have been. I think if I put it on the inside, I'd never open the door. But anyway, so that's all mounted, and wires running down, maybe a couple of zip ties, and it'll be done. Alright, so I got the mega scaffold set up. I am short, and I don't like to reach up too high, because shoulders and stuff. Yeah, getting old. But anyway, so that's 2 of those stacked together, and Thor is just here to inspect. Yeah. Hey, buddy. Getting some things rearranged. We got the speakers for the stereo kind of redone, or the TV redone. So the carts were getting kind of clumsy, so we just have the sound bar and such on there. But yeah, just getting ready for electrician. Now I have enough space with this scaffold to be able to reach up. That's the bottom of those rafters are 13 feet up. The side walls are 12 foot. So that should roll around. The total height of the scaffold is 12 feet. So there you go. You approve, Thor? All right. that's a bit of a hanger. Well, I'll show you a little bit about what's going on here. Spin this around. So, yeah, that tree's pretty well rotted. Those are, I don't know if they're carpenter ants or what, but they certainly have, you can see that that tree's pretty much gone. But I also now have a hanger because that pine limb is keeping the tree from falling. So we'll have to figure out how to loose that a little bit and get it going. Well, at first I wasn't sure if this one was as rotted or problematic. It was mostly dead. But yeah, it looks like it's just as active. You can see the hollow dead part in there. So this one would have come down pretty early. But looking at the top of it here, it doesn't look all that rotted. So it's just the base. It was toast. Anyway, these cedars are down. Well, I was coming around to put equipment away. And if I get this to zoom in. That's out. There we go. And wild focus, I know, sorry. We got a small group of deer just kind of hanging out. I startled them as they started across the lawn and they settled in. I need to move the farm truck though and put it away. I may come out a little bit later and do that. Go around the other way and let them have their dinner. All right, so today and or the next few days, we'll see how this goes. I have a 60-gallon air compressor. It is let me walk around here. It is a Craftsman. Chosen mostly because it was made in USA. Kind of confused by the with global materials. Not sure how far that goes, but anyway. So we have, there's the electrical connection and such safety pieces. But that's going to go right about where that cross of tape is. That'll be the back leg, about 18 inches off the wall. But the problem is I got to lift this thing, which weighs in at, I don't know, 200-300 pounds, off of its existing pallet, and then set it onto 3 bolts with isolators and level it, which means I'll probably have to lift it up and drop it a few times to get it level. So, trying to figure out how to do that. So, well, why not just combine a couple of projects? Wasn't really looking to do this project right away, mostly because it'll be in the way. But down here in this box is a gantry. Just some assembly required. The instructions do say it requires 2 people to assemble. I can only imagine why. It will eventually stand, well, kind of close, not quite the full height of that, but about where that first or the second platform is up there. That's about, I think, the height of the gantry when it's done. So it'll be a handy tool to have around here. I'll be able to lift things, and it has a 1-ton capacity, 2,000 pounds. So it should more than be able to lift the compressor up and down and juggle it. I thought about using the tractor, but that would be much louder and more difficult. Hydraulics on it aren't exactly precision, especially the heavier the weight you go with its limits, and at about 300 pounds, it'll be a little jerky. So I'm afraid that I drop it and smash bolts and do that kind of thing. But anyway, the other challenge I'm going to have, because if you guys haven't heard quite yet, this shop floor was not poured level. pretty upset about that, but nothing I can do about it at this point. So I'm gonna have a challenge trying to level the air compressor. It needs about, just in the small footprint of the legs, close to 1/8 of an inch shim on one side. So that's another reason why I thought, well, the gantry is probably a good tool for this. So this is why it's nice to have a large shop. So you have space to lay out what you're going to build, especially when it's something large like the gantry. And luckily, Karen's going to help me. Yay! So we'll not do a step by step, but we'll get this knocked out. Hi, we did it.
We did it.
So it took the farm truck and the winch and the forks, because that's as high as my forks go on my tractor. So we kind of rigged it and was able to pull it upright using some, here's a theatrical term, footing. But we didn't actually use somebody's foot because that would have been dangerous to have them under that load. But now I got to unrig it, but we should be good now. We just got to finish reassembling the parts. But that was the trickiest bit, was trying to figure out how to get it. It was laying on the ground, trying to get it upright, because if it was upright here, what they wanted us to do was this, which is about as high as I can reach. They wanted us to slide that upper part into the sleeve, and the upper part of it probably bottoms out down here. So I'm just not that tall, and neither is the shop.
Yeah.
So, okay. And we got the farm truck winched in here. So it took almost all of the Kubota stuff to do it. Congratulations, honey. Yay. So we finally got the gantry and the hoist and the trolley and all of it assembled. That was really fun. And now I can lift that. But Karen helped me with all of it. Now we're just cleaning up, putting stuff away.
Yay.
So Duke is here to replace my transformer. So that means that we're going to get our new power source pretty soon. So they're getting prepped for that. And in addition to that, gutter guys are here putting up gutters on the shop. So that'll be good. Next time it rains, we won't have floods. All right, first use of the gantry is to raise it up off of the posts, get everything spun and positioned, and drop it onto the floor. Well, not drop it, but put it on the floor. Well, there it is. I got the red heads in. Red heads are bolts that we use to attach things to concrete. So those are all in. The compressor's up and stable. Don't know if the electrician is going to be happy with me that I did it the way I did it, but I wanted the logo on this side and the serviceable parts on this side instead of against the wall. The downside is this is what he's got to connect power to, so he's got to get a whip that goes around there somehow and attaches. So good times for him. Anyway, good times for me too, because now I have a really nice air compressor. And I just got to figure out how to get the gantry out of here. Yeah, they kind of needed power to do the downspouts. They're seamless. So I got to try out the generator. Well, had electricians here today. They got started. They got our box interior load center mounted, and they're going to run it up kind of towards the house. He's going to run a raceway all the way up to my network rack with the 1 1/4 inch. And then we have the distribution panel service entrance there. So we're making progress. Tomorrow they're going to come in and he said run the 220 stuff, which is we have an EV charge and such over on this wall. And then we're going to have all of the runs up high for lights and ceiling fans, and then start with the outlets. But it's coming along. We'll get there. It's kind of interesting to think through some of the things you got going. I needed to grab a pallet because I grabbed 6 bags of salt, which are for the water softener at the well. But the pallets, you might be able to see them, they're way over there, the other side of the shed. So grab that, but yeah, then I'll back in, put them on a pallet, and then as I need salt, I can just run it over to the well. But if I need to move them around, they're on a pallet, and I can keep them dry in the shop. There, so now when I need to move it over from around, I can just throw the pallet jack on it, roll the salt around, keep it out of the way wherever I need it. Now one of the things I need to do. I returned some used oil, and of course one of the oil drums fell over. So I gotta put some soap in here and clean that out. Use the trailer to get the tractor out, so now there's a little bit more room in the shop. I may try and put Connor's cart in the shop. I'm a little worried though at that oil, kind of hard to see in the photo, but the tractor leaked a bunch of, looks like hydraulic fluid onto the trailer in the hall over there. I have no idea where that was coming from because there's no hydraulic oil on the shop floor. So it's very confusing. So they're going to look at that. They're going to fix the seat, and one of the bolts that holds the battery cover on, it's supposed to be retained so that when you push a nut onto it, it doesn't move. But you put a nut on it, and it like falls inside. So that's not very good. So hopefully we'll get that done. But I'm going to give a shot at trying to get the Subaru into the shop. It's all-wheel drive, so I'm going to try and drive it between the shop and here and the trees there. It'll be a little off camera, but I should be able to whip around and drive it right on back in there. Well, in case folks were wondering about how big the shop was, it fits a Subaru and a side-by-side, no problem. Probably still fit the tractor in here. But it is going to start getting crowded as we get things going. But there's still like a ton of room. I could probably, if I wanted to, fit about 10 cars in here. But it's not the purpose. 1 or 2 cars at a time. Still got the truck over there. So happy to have this shop starting to come together. Couldn't be more excited. I just wish that my electrician would be healed. He's having some back problems, so the electrical install is kind of stalled, but we'll get back to that. Well, we had lots of stuff going on in this video, from air compressors and electricians to the cat and all kinds of things going on. Watching a helicopter take off from my work. That's a little helipad for tour helicopters that takes off quite frequently over. I see them buzzing by the office all the time. But anyway, thanks for watching. If you get a chance, hit the like, subscribe, leave me a comment. Let me know if I'm doing something right or wrong, or if there's more stuff you'd rather see. Anyway, you've been watching Going Bright, and God bless.